Good morning, afternoon, evening, folks, whatever time it is when you see this video. I wanted to cover a 2010 Dodge Journey RT 3.5 liter brake booster replacement. The book calls for 3 hours and some odd minutes. And there's a couple things I wanted to cover to make life a little easier for you folks. And I'll just go ahead and cover things that way from the beginning. That way you can understand what it will entail. So obviously with the engine not running, pump the brake pedal 4 or 5 strokes until the pedal is firm. Okay. Disconnect the negative ground cable from the battery. Isolate the cable. I'll just be frank with you guys. I never disconnect the battery on simple things like this. Probably should, but... And then it also talks about removing the cowling. Raise the hood as high as you can. There's a bunch of clips. Let's go to the real world here and look. Cowling's in 2 pieces. You'll have both these little pieces here. There's clips that look like this. There's 3 of them for the top one. Pull it off, lay it somewhere. And then the bottom one, you'll have your wiper arms that go through there. There's a clip here, clip on the opposite end, and then there's, let's see, 5 on the bottom. What I like to do for the wiper arms is I'll mark the wiper arm. Oh, I got it on the ground here. I'll mark the wiper arm with a line, paint pen, and I'll mark the arm. And I do it for both sides. And then I'll loosen the nut just a little bit, but so it's still flush with the end here. And then I don't have the puller for it, so I just give it a whack with a ball peen hammer, and it'll break the arm loose a bit, at which point you can take the nut off, remove the wiper arm. I put driver on driver's side, passenger on passenger side. I mean, I know I'm not going to mix them up. At which point, once you get the arms off, then you can pull that cowling off. Then you go ahead and pull this wiper motor assembly. It's 3 10mm bolts, blap, blap, blap. Just unplug it, obviously, and just lay it off to the side. Then when you get in here, you're gonna have the brake booster pressure sensor. I just left it plugged in and pulled it out, laid it off to the side. So here's where you're gonna save yourself a bunch of heartache and stuff. Book says, oh, there's a brace I failed to mention you're gonna have to pull out. So pull this brace out. They go strut tower to strut tower. Pull that out. And so now you're gonna have to remove the master cylinder. Just unbolt it. There's 2 13mm bolts you'll undo. So here's what I didn't like. It said disconnect the rear brake tubes at the junction block, install plugs. I don't want to open up the brake system. Let me get a light so I can show you what I did. So I observed what it was the lines get in the way when you go to pull the booster. Primarily the master cylinder lines. So there's a plastic little holder back here, right here, and if you can, because it'll ride on that stud there, and it goes into this hole here, and all I did was cock it at an angle. So when you slide it off this stud, cock this at an angle, and then pry these 2 lines from these 2 holders on here. Just pop them out with a flat tip screwdriver. They come out very easy. Be careful you don't fracture the line or weaken its integrity or whatever. So pop them out, at which point get yourself a bungee cord. And I hooked it on the eyelet of the master cylinder, and I just simply, whatever you can hook it on here that you're not gonna break, trying to pull that out of the way. At which point, once you get that out of the way, you got more than enough clearance to pop this out. Well, keep in mind, You got 4 studs on the inside under the brake pedal that you got to pull the 4 13mm bolts off of. This has the stud that goes to the brake pedal, and it's secured via this little clip that you do not want to lose. Don't fuck it up. You see this, see that little groove there? Perfect size to stick a flat tip screwdriver in. Cock it at an angle, at which point, once you slide that up, you can pull the pin out and off. So, and just set that somewhere where you're not gonna lose it. And at which point, once you're free there, then you can fish this out. Just slide it out, pull it out, bam. Pay close attention when you go to put the new one in. It will come with, and I just pulled the nipple off, at which point I'm gonna remove that from the line. Reason being is there's a little disc in here. Where did it go? Oh, here it is. So I'm not going to use this old one. Don't pull this one out of the new one. I did it just to be in a hurry to get it out of the way. So there's a little disc in here, and those fail. But don't use the old one. Just pop it off. And then, oh, here's my new one. So the reason I'm replacing this one or the old one is because it was sucking in air through a diaphragm, and you could hear it in the cab. It was just like a constant suction. Pedal will go to the floor, and people were freaking out. So when you install this, make sure it's just in this position. The studs will be vertical, and you want these, just like this. You don't want it cocked or nothing like that. Reverse order, slide it back through, put the 4 nuts on, put the brake pedal linkage through here, put that special clip I was telling you about, 4 nuts, and then when you go to, undo your bungee cord, slide that master back on, 2 13mm nuts, booster pressure sensor goes here, at which point, once that's there, go ahead and put your wiper motor assembly back there. 10 mil, 10 mil, 10 mil, plug it in, put your brace across here, and that's this brace here, and put the cowling back on. Put your wiper arms on their respective side. Make sure they're lined up with the paint marks that you put on there. If you didn't put any marks, it's no big deal. You've got old crusty references to go off of where they sit in the rest position. So as long as you put them in that area, then they should have the proper clearance when they wipe back and forth. So after you put that brace, you put the cowlings, put the wipers. I believe I covered everything. Oh, and rebox your old booster so you can get your core money back on it. But the other thing I failed to mention was when you pull the booster out, go ahead and check it. Check the master here for leaking. So make sure there's no fluid on there, which mine looks like it's got a little bit of oil on it. And that's what wipes them out. So I'm gonna probably check that and make sure it's not leaking, because it could also just be grease from the shaft that goes into it. But anyways, guys, I hope you guys liked the video. I just happened to be staring at this book and I thought, what better way to save some time? Because I hate bleeding the brake system if I can avoid it. So, all right, folks. Thanks again. I appreciate you watching. You guys have a great day.